Hey guys, I'm Cecilia Jr. here, aka Mustached, and welcome back to some more horror movie reviews. This time I'll be looking at Model Murderers. In this movie we follow a true story. I don't know how accurate that is, but I've seen horror movies use that trope before and have it not be true sometimes, so you can never really be too sure. But for the case of this, we follow a young lady named Grace who wants to get in the modeling business, which I just reviewed not even too long ago, a movie about fashion and all that stuff. And that one had more of a supernatural, like zombie-like feel to it, whereas this is more grounded in reality, but could still very well be fiction. I don't know, again, if it really is based on a true story or not. Nonetheless, she has a boyfriend named Matt and a concerned mother who's just trying to look out for her daughter's best interest, and that includes just looking out, finishing school, you know, the typical routine where the younger of the individuals, Grace in this case, wants to go out and be a modeling individual, and that includes, you know, posing and doing all that stuff and getting into that business. So she's really amped and looking for work after this initial person that she's working for asked her to essentially undress fully nude, not a model nude, essentially creating the stigma of you want to get up in the world, you have to do the dirty work, sort of thing going on here. So she wants nothing to do with that, so she leaves. And she meets up with her boyfriend and talks with her mom and stuff like that. So she's upset and finds while on the computer, while searching for a new gig, she finds an ad that seems too good to be true. It's like one of those pop-up ads you see on the internet. That's exactly what the format looks like. So she thinks that it's a good idea because it's promising all of these things. It says that there are all these previous, you know, people that have worked there before. It seems, again, too good to be true, so she goes and heads over there ASAP, leaving her mother behind, and not really communicating that she's going to... Oh, she kind of does. She leaves, like, behind a little note for her, and then gives a little text to the boyfriend, Matt, as well, and then decides to head off. So once there, she meets both Nicole and Hunter. Hunter being the photographer in question, and Nicole, I guess, being the partner of said photographer. So Nicole is the one who sets up this pickup and picks her up. She gets moved into her new room, and pretty quickly the switch gets turned on, and we see that she now gets locked in this little room by the photographer. And he suggests that she can't leave the room, that she works for him like forever and ever, or as long as he can keep her, you know, well suited to do this. And that if she doesn't continue to do the modeling in his way, that he has people that are visibly currently recording the mom and, you know, sending these threats of they will do these really bad things that will, you know. So she feels like she is completely helpless. So she takes on to the dresses and she puts on one of them, like starting off like, I don't know, it was like a cheerleader one at the beginning or something like that. So while she's getting ready, Hunter's making sure that her texts are being met with the mother. And Matt is starting to get a little worried, and so is the mom. They're both starting to get a little worried. And it's around the same time that he gets an update that mentions that she loves him, which is something that she hasn't had said yet, so he's a little bit concerned in an additional way. So she tries calling for help. That doesn't obviously bode well, that being Grace, while the recording's going on. So she's trying to fight with what she can get, and it doesn't, again, go well. There was some glass at him, like, there was, like, this little lamp that she grabbed. And we also see that when Hunter is talking with Nicole, that he also has a secret over her as well, which is why she sort of feels reserved to stay and help out with this little experiment, even though she just is in that state of mind of, oh, this is a good relationship, I suppose. So Grace is set up with different costumes and so on and so forth, and the mom is trying to get some more updates on what's going on. So Nicole is getting jealous at some point in the movie. She tries to attack, and Grace fends herself off, and Hunter stops it, and when the two are separated, she kisses Hunter in the hopes that by seducing him that she can gain his trust. At this point, the mom and Matt go to the police, and they're trying to convince that the police that, you know, something bad has happened, and they're, of course, demanding proof. And the mother's trying to explain how none of it feels right, but unfortunately, again, with the text being sent in, there's this indication that everything from the police perspective seems to be on the up and up, at least for now. Hunter calls over Grace for a gift, and Nicole is seeing all this because it's being recorded. And she's trying to get that info, asking about why he's doing this and what he's trying to achieve here. Nicole is sent out to, like, get to handle something, I guess. And at this point in the movie, this is where, like, he's, like, trusting Grace at this point, that she's, like, trying to convince him, like, oh, let's head outside, all this stuff like that. So he grabs a gun just as an insurance policy, and the two of them enter the store, and the cashier there is, like, a little bit wary, but not too wary quite yet. But when the changing happens, when Grace goes to get something changed, she's, like, waiting for help, and then you see Hunter, like, move in, and then she's really getting suspicious, and just to add in the little extra that Grace tries to steal something, but Hunter, like, backs this lady down. So yeah, it is a little bit weird that this lady wouldn't call the police and then have the vehicle license plate, like, matched, because that's probably what really would happen. Would have led to his location, etc., etc. He probably would have gotten arrested that way. But, you know, gotta build up that suspense and have it be the cashiers, I guess, just not smart enough to think of that strategy? I don't know. Anyway, Nicole gets in on one of these shows, punishing Grace for her actions, and this is at the point where the boyfriend Matt and his friend, whose name I honestly don't remember, are looking at the interwebs trying to figure out what she went to, and then the friend sees that she's, like, being spanked on this site, and then he's like, oh, you gotta find, like, where this site is. So they're trying to find the closest thing to what she was looking into. The mom is also doing her own searching at this point as well. So Nicole is getting a bit more wary as to what's going on, checking in on the webs and the pics that Hunter has had and what happened to all these other models that he's claimed to supposedly help out or help out in quotes. Obviously for obvious reasons. So the mom checks in with Matt. Sorry, and Grace is continuing to try to trick Hunter with apologies and be like, "Oh." Nicole again hearing all of this stuff. So the mom still is trying to urge the police to move, and she's trying to say, this doesn't make any sense of how long she's been out there, and he's kind of still been oh, I don't know. Matt comes in to get her, and then they leave again. So Grace is still trying to shift things to get Hunter's Grace, ironically enough, I guess, to get certain items, certain paints. So he does so, and then she starts messing with this fire alarm. I don't know, it was to get his attention or something. Eventually she's able to get his attention there. She was able to grab something and use it as a stabbing utensil, and stab out one of his eyes, and then tries to run away. Unfortunately, he still does manage to grab the Grace and then shove her back into the room. Shortly after, the police arrive at that location because the fire alarm went off, and I guess it's just one of those rich areas where, that would probably happen as quickly as it does. So the police guy is over there trying to make his presence known. Hunter has his gun still, and it disappears sometimes, oh so conveniently. And the police is looking around and almost getting into the back room. And just as the policeman is trying to open the door, he gets this other call, and he leaves. Which again, I think is a little bit on the more unrealistic side. If this was a more modern take, and I don't assume that a police officer would go to any scenario by themselves. They would probably always have that one other individual with them. And it would have probably been more akin to one of them would have stayed there anyways, just to check out if everything really was okay, because things were starting to get suspicious over there, but that's not what happens. The police officer ends up leaving the scene before seeing Grace. So now, Hunter is obviously really upset. We see that Matt found the ad. He followed Nicole to her location. Hunter has this eye patch, and he's digging this hole to bury Grace in. So everyone's converging into this one location now, where at least Matt is converging to their location. So he's following her. He calls the police, so that must have been really awkward, obviously. Hunter tells Grace that he's gonna record her dying or whatever, kill her on camera. Matt arrives on the scene and sneaks in. He gets to the back, and when he gets there, he gets hit with a shovel and is tied up. So Grace is pulled out, and she pulls out these. And I completely forgot about this in my notes, but apparently somewhere in the movie earlier on, he has this one rule that if there's something with nuts, that to hide it away or not have it entirely. He apparently has this allergic reaction, so when she went to go escape earlier, before she got caught, she had grabbed this nut bar that Nicole, I guess, just left there, and ate it, and then, like, kissed him, which causes him to have an allergic reaction. Unties her current boyfriend, and then Nicole even finally is able to step up, drain the rest of his meds so that he's unable to pursue them accurately. But she is stabbed in the process of doing that, so she dies in the process of trying to fight back or fight out. So Grace is able to get the keys, and then we see 1 year pass where she's able to become a successful model with her boyfriend in tow and her mom at the beach. Everything's all fine and dandy. Again, a few issues here and there, a few just like logical leaps and things like that, I think are what hold this movie back the most. So I would say a 4 out of 10. Unfortunate, but I want to be fair. So that's my review of Model Murderers, and if you enjoyed this review, then please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Also make sure to check out those links in the description, one to head you over to my Discord server, the other to my Patreon page. Any donations are greatly appreciated. Until next time, everyone, bye-bye.